If you've been struggling to get your first real estate wholesale deal, make sure you watch this video all the way through because I'll be giving you all my top tips on how you can get this done in the next 30, 60 to 90 days. Let's get into it. Now, you got a lot of people out here that really overcomplicate the process when it comes to wholesaling. Whenever you're trying to get your first deal, and if you're trying to get in the next 30 days, you need to be generating leads as quickly as you possibly can. So in this particular situation, you wouldn't go out and try to drive for dollars. You wouldn't go out and get bandit signs. You wouldn't go to the courthouse and pull data. You need instant data. And the way you can do that is you can go on a list provider such as PropStream and get 10,000 records for $99 a month. You can run comps inside of the software. You can find cash buyers as well too. And you can skip trace inside of that. So just say you do pull a list of 10,000 records, you can skip trace that 10,000 inside of PropStream, export it, and hop straight on the phones. You also have another option, but this may take a little bit of time too as well. You can go the list broker route. You can find a list broker that has motivated sellers lists or absentee owners lists, and you can get a list from these list brokers, but it may cost you way more money. I purchased a list from a list broker one time, and I believe I got like 600 records for $300. But what I did, I went and compared the list that I got from the list broker. I went and filter out that same list on PropStream, and almost every single record that was on the list broker list was in PropStream under the same filters. At that point, I never purchased any more data from a list broker. You can still make the decision to do that, but I prefer to save the money, pay the $99 per month, and get 10,000 records every single month. But like I said, that's going to be your quickest way, and that's what I would recommend you do when it come down to talking to sellers to generate leads and generate deals. Now, if you're enjoying the video so far, please just take 1 second for me, hit the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell, and YouTube will see that this video is providing value to everyone, and they'll push it out to a larger audience. So just take 1 second and do that for me. And also leave a comment down below. Let me know how long have you been trying to get your first deal and what type of videos that I can make that will help speed up the process for you. Now let's get back into the video. All right, so now after you have your list provider such as PropStream or a list broker, the next step is skip tracing. Listen, this part is very, very important because if you use a skip tracing service that give you a lot of wrong phone numbers, you're still not talking to any sellers. So a lot of people go the cheaper route because they new in the business, they don't understand how the business works, and they end up spending money on 5-cent skip tracing services. And then when they come back with a lot of wrong phone numbers, then they get upset and say, man, this stuff doesn't work, I'm gonna quit. That's not the way to do it. My recommendation is if you can use a service such as Bat Skip Tracing, which that's what I use in my business, feel free to check them out below. You're gonna have the highest hit rates, which will get you in contact with more sellers. And even if you don't generate a deal in the first round, you say, hey, at least I am talking to the correct sellers. That's the most important thing. Now, even with Bat Skip Tracer, you're not gonna have 100% hit rate. A lot of people, when they spend $300, $400, $500 in skip tracing, they feel like they should have 100% hit rate. That will not be possible. And if you do find a service that gives you 100% hit rate, please send them my way because I would love to use them. But over the years, I've used many different skip tracing services, and Bat Skip Tracing was the best one so far. So once you upload your list into your skip tracing provider, you get the same records back, the same Excel spreadsheet back, but then they'll come with phone numbers and possibly emails as well too. And most of the time you get up to 3, 4, 5 phone numbers. Some even give you up to 10 phone numbers, and you'll mostly get mobile or landline phone numbers. So now this process is about to get even more simplified. You find your list provider, you skip trace your list inside of a skip tracing service. So what you think is next? It's time to market to your data. You have multiple different ways that you can market to your data. You can cold call them, you can send them text messages, you can send ringless voicemails, you can send direct mail, you can do whatever you want. But whenever you're trying to get a deal in 30 days, the quickest way to get in contact with sellers is cold calling, text messages, and ringless voicemails. Any other marketing form such as direct mail or, like I said before, bandit signs or whatever is going to take longer because you got to send direct mail out. Whenever you upload your records into a single line dialer such as call tools, which that is what I use in my wholesale business, you start calling out instantly. Either they're gonna pick up or they're not. And I guarantee by the end of the day, if you use a triple line dialer, you will be able to talk to multiple sellers a day as long as you stay on the phone for a good amount of time. And the same thing goes with ringless voicemails. Now, ringless voicemails, I use REI Reply for that. That's $49 a month, and it costs you 0.0085 cents to send a ringless voicemail. As soon as you send the ringless voicemail out, it's gonna hit the seller's voicemail box. So that's instant contact with the seller. Either they're gonna listen to it or they're not. Same thing with text messages. You can use REI Reply for sending text messages. As soon as you send a text message out, the seller is either gonna look at it or they're not. They're gonna respond or they're not gonna respond to it. So that's why I said these are the three most cheapest and effective ways to get in contact with sellers, because it gets you directly in front of the sellers in a matter of minutes. And from there, that's how you convert your prospects into leads. And like I said numerous times in the video, the more prospects you speak with, the more leads you're gonna generate, the more offers you're gonna make, and that'll be the way you get to your first deal. Now, if you're looking for a video on how I use REI Reply in my wholesaling business and how I automate the process of sending text messages and ringless voicemail, definitely feel free to check my video out here, because it'll show you everything you need in order to get the process started with REI Reply. Remember, it's only $49 a month to get that done. Now let's get back into the video. All right, so now that we know how we're gonna market to these sellers, the next part of the process is the responses that you receive from the sellers. These are mostly the type of responses that you receive, so it may make sense for you to write this down or rewind this part of the video if you need to. You'll have sellers that say, yes, I wanna sell. You have sellers that say, no, I'm not interested in selling. You have sellers that say, wrong number. You have sellers that's gonna say, not at this time. You have sellers that say, do not call me ever again. You have sellers that say that the property is sold. And you have sellers that say, how did you get this number? Those are mainly all the responses that you will get from sellers. Sometimes it may be a little bit different, but it still will fall in the realm of what I just gave you. And based off of those responses, that's how you follow up with the seller. Because even when a seller tells you, I'm not interested, what you gonna do? You just gonna throw the lead away and never contact them again? I hope you wouldn't do that. What I would do, I would put them in a not interested campaign. So with a not interested campaign, depending on the type of money that you have, you can have that set up to where you reach out to the seller every 120 days or once a year when they say they're not interested in selling. Now, if you got a seller that say, hey, I may want to sell in a month or so, you need to have a 30-day campaign, because you need to reach out to that seller more frequently. You may want to reach out to them once every 2 weeks. And if you got a seller that say, hey, I want to sell next week, then of course you need to try to get that thing locked up as soon as possible, because they're definitely interested in selling and you just need to get that under contract. Now, the sellers that say that the property is sold, you need to ask them, hey, congratulations on selling your property. Would you possibly have any other properties that you want to sell? And you'll be surprised how many doors that would open up just by asking those type of questions. You might have a seller say, yeah, I just sold this property, but I do have some land that I would like to sell over in such and such county. Would you be interested in that? That's why you always be open-minded, even when sellers say that they're not interested in selling. If you do that, your pipeline definitely will be filled in no time with seller leads. You have a lot of sellers in your follow-up, which you can create that at REI Reply, and sellers that you actually made offers on that say, yes, I want to sell, and they didn't accept your offer at that point in time. Of course, you put them in the podio to put them in a separate follow-up, and that's how you get your deals. It may take longer than 30 days to get that done, but like I always say, the deals are definitely going to be in the follow-up. 70 to 80% of your deals will come from follow-up. So definitely keep these responses in mind, create the campaigns needed to follow up with the sellers properly, and you'll be well on your way to your first deal. So as you can see, this process is very, very simple. And from this point on, it's all about the numbers. You have to track your KPIs. When you're tracking your KPIs, it tells you how many calls it takes to generate a lead. It tells you how many text messages and ringless voicemails it'll take to get a lead. And that's very important, because you know the more leads you generate, the more offers you make, and the more deals you'll close. So if you want to scale your wholesaling business from 1 deal a month to 5 deals a month, you know you got to 5x your efforts that you're putting in order to generate your 5 deals a month. If it's taking you 1 in 10 leads, it's going to take you 50 leads to generate 5 deals in your wholesaling business a month. So you just got to 5x your efforts. Hit the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell. And thank you for watching this video. See you next time.